They'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Houston Astros' run of 7 straight ALCS appearances has come to an end as they were eliminated from the postseason, falling in the wild card round to the Detroit Tigers, falling 5-2 today as they got swept in their 2-game series. Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy confirmed they will not have wide receiver Brandon Cooks this week against the Steelers. He developed infection in his right knee following a procedure after their win over the Giants.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Dad?
Can't stop me now!
Oh, good evening, San Antonio, and welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. However y'all may be listening, whether it is on the FM dial at 94.1, if you're listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you're like the many that watch on our YouTube channel, that's right, you can watch all the shows live on YouTube at SA Sports Star on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show, or you can call in at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Hope everybody had a happy hump day as we are making our way towards the weekend, a weekend without the Longhorns, but got the Texans, big game against Buffalo. You got the Cowboys and Steelers, which feels like a huge game for them as well. And that you get the news this week about Brandon Cooks coming out that came out this morning and where the Cowboys could go. And it feels like, Texans, Bills could be a battle of which team's actually not considered a pretender yet, because both teams feel like they have beat up on bad teams to this point, and their one true loss has been against the teams that actually have proven themselves so far this season. So which of these two so-called contenders can keep it rolling in this game coming up, and which will be an H-Town Blue game, which I am super stoked to see that uniform for the first time this season. But we talk about pretenders, contenders, panic meter. Where are we on the panic scope with NFL teams? Who needs to be freaking out a little bit more than other teams right now? Well, the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson, we're talking about NFL panic meter this morning on the Morning Huddle.
CBS Sports did a story, panic meter entering week 5. Who should be concerned? Who should not be? And they've got 3 levels. Make sure your mic's off when you're talking to these guys, Vic. We don't want to hear you. There are 3 categories. Panic level should be fine. Panic level 0 margin for error. And panic level danger zone.
Danger zone. Well, there's some teams in the danger zone already. They might not know it, but they are.
Now, all these teams are 2-2 or worse.
Well, I think you have to be worse.
Well, Vic,
I don't think we can fix this.
we can hear you. I don't know. We can hear you.
There's a ghost in the machine.
Should be fine. It's got 2 teams. And these 2 teams make sense because they've both had injuries to key pieces. The 49ers are 2-2. I don't think anybody's panicking. Green Bay Packers are 2-2. They won games without Jordan Love and lost games with him. I don't know if you should.
I think
that might be a little alarming.
The Green Bay's about where they thought they'd be.
I think Green Bay expected to be better.
I think they're going to be better. There's no need to panic.
Okay.
I'll say this. The only reason, if I am a fan or part of the Green Bay cult, the sudden onset of the Viking might
it's a little
have
scary.
me a little worried. But other than that, you knew what you're dealing with in Detroit, and you knew what you were getting in Chicago, and you're exactly where you thought you'd be.
Panic level, 0 margin for error. Now, it's funny because this article says this group features a trio of 2-2 clubs that have the capabilities of getting back into the postseason, but can't slip up as they move forward through the rest of the year. Yet, the first team they list is a team that it says get back to the playoffs. The Jets aren't a playoff team. Jets haven't made the playoffs in like a bajillion years. But the New York Jets.
Yeah, they got to panic.
They at least need to start considering that, hey, we're not nearly as good as we thought we were.
You got water coming on board, man. You got people calling for your head coach's job. You got a quarterback back in the, it's going to be all right, but we're off. Your defense is not worth anything. Yeah, it's time to panic. You got to do something.
Just because Greenberg comes on TV and says that the Jets are better than the Bills before the season starts doesn't make it true. And quite frankly, the fact that the Dolphins have basically gone from, a viable team in the AFC East to
their situation.
A non-factor. Like the Jets should be in good shape, but I don't feel good about where the Jets are at.
I'll say this. If they'd have gone out in the rain and the cold the other night and had just an average, scored from the one, where were they, 1 or 3, scored a touchdown, and not one pretty, but just one, we would be in an entirely different conversation today. We would. It was an ugly game. It wasn't a pretty circumstance, but they would have won a couple, and, Aaron would have lifted his team. But everything that you were afraid of was encompassed in that game. So I think that they have every right to be very afraid.
And their schedule, they play in London on Sunday.
The Vikings.
They play the Vikings, who are a juggernaut, right? And let's keep in mind, the Jets are 2-2. Their 2 losses at San Francisco and the Broncos, which is their 2 wins at the Titans, only because Will Levis insisted that they win.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Patriots.
Reason to be afraid. They have every right and should be acting as if this whole thing could go south if we don't act absolutely appropriately.
So as soon as they get back from London, they have Monday Night Football against the Bills. Then 3 of their next 4 games are on the road. At Steelers, at Patriots. Their home game is the Texans. And then they're at the Cardinals. Like things could get.
Yes, they have every right to go do something outlandish.
And the fact that they lost at home to the Broncos tells me they're not above losing any of those games. Because if you can lose at home to Bo Nix when Bo Nix can't complete a pass.
Well, Robert Saleh has got to keep Aaron Rodgers content, not happy, just content. Because the moment Aaron says anything to the negative, this whole thing burns down.
I think so too. Yeah, they don't want to piss him off. The Cowboys and Eagles are the other 2 teams on the 0 margin for error list. You agree with those?
I think there's this, because my enemy kind of sucks, I'm a little safe. It could be worse. They could be better.
But Washington does scare you.
Yeah, but
much like Green Bay, the emergence of Minnesota changes what Green Bay is looking at.
Suddenly the geometry looks a little bit different, especially after you watched the way Philly's got trouble. I mean, they're hurt. There's no help in sight. The quarterback, there's enough film on your quarterback. We know how to keep you from the tush push or the Phillies, whatever we want to call it. I think Philly's got some genuine problems. The Cowboys are just so thin. And you start looking at, if everything goes right, yeah, things could be okay because the Giants are awful and Philly's awful. But if you're one stub toe, one injury away from absolute catastrophe, you got to act as if you're sinking. And I do believe they are in trouble. They need to make the panic meter is at an 8 out of 10.
It's funny because the Eagles have been dealing with that without their two best receivers, both banged up, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith's going to be back, but I'm not sure. And now the Cowboys, who their defense was already ass, and now they're probably going to have to play without their two best players on defense. That's not ideal.
No. This is kind of when you go, what's the worst case? Because we're thin on defense. Well, let's go into a game, a non-conference game that we really don't have a real full measure of what they're going to do. And let's go in it without our two defensive
Now, the good
leaders.
thing is you're going to Pittsburgh, and if your defense, I don't care how bad your defense is, if you can't at least hold the Steelers offense in some kind of check, like the Steelers offense is designed not to score a bunch of points. It's designed to hold onto the ball and not screw up. If the Steelers put up 20 on you, you're in you got bigger issues than, like, we can stop talking about should we panic. It's like, you suck.
But to beat Pittsburgh, you also have to control the clock.
Yes.
And you're going to have to
and
run the football.
you don't have the game that can do that.
Right.
But the scary thing is, in week 6, you play the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions will score points. They will score more than 20 points. And that's
why you sit Micah this week.
I think so too. I think you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to give it. And because you get Detroit in week 6, and if he's still a little banged up, you put him out there, and then week 7's your bye. But now then week 8, you're at San Francisco. Week 9, you're at Atlanta.
You need to be that week 8 game is the pivot point of the season.
You think so?
It will be. They have to be firing on as many cylinders as they've got after the bye week.
It's funny because I think of week 10 when they play the Philadelphia Eagles. That's because the truth is, I don't think if the Cowboys don't win the division, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team.
I think the NFC East is going to send.
I think they might be a one team.
But to get there, you have to set the table for Philly with a highly successful. You have to look good or feel.
That was the morning huddle as they discussed teams that were what their panic level is. And I see a lot of y'all weighing in. The Jags, absolutely. The Jets, I still think they're good at 2-2 right now. I would be concerned if I'm a Rams fan. I would be a lot of concern as a Bengals fan, knowing that Baltimore looks really good after that slow start. They're putting things together with Derrick Henry. And you've got to fight your way back up. And I know we all don't believe in Pittsburgh, but they've got a 2-game lead on them right now. And so they've got to fight their way back into this as well. And they've lost the games they absolutely should not have to this point. The Jags, I think they're in a tailspin right now, and they could be looking for a new coach at the end of the year, because it's unacceptable for them to be at the bottom of the division when they were supposed to be one of the ones contending with Houston for this division title. They got to turn around in a hurry, or Doug Peterson's going to be looking for work, and they will be looking for another offensive mind, maybe a Ben Johnson or something like that, to get the best out of their investment that they just made into Trevor Lawrence. I think the Bears should be panicking right now, because we thought that division was going to be brutal. We didn't think the Vikings would be the team that you would be looking up the most at in that division. And Caleb Williams is struggling in contrast with Jaden Daniels and what he's doing in Washington. Washington's been a pleasant surprise in the NFC East. And if I'm Philly, man, the entire thing could burn to the ground. And when your head coach and your quarterback aren't talking to one another, and you are 3-8, 2-8 since last season, after starting off red hot, that feels like something that could be a house of cards that could burn to the ground. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. RJ Ochoa joined the Blitz earlier today to discuss Brandon Cook's injury, what to think of Dalvin Cook and what the Cowboys are doing with it, and the upcoming part of the schedule and how the Cowboys will navigate this with all the injuries and what we've seen from the young guys to this point, and plus the trade rumors that the Cowboys are obviously linked in with Devontae Adams or make it another receiver. Is it receiver? Do they need something else? Let's hear from you. 210-656-ESPN. RJ Ochoa, blogging the boys with the Blitz, coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
NCE General Contractors, based in San Antonio, is one of the fastest growing nationwide general contractors with a focus on commercial new construction, design build projects, building renovations, tenant finish outs, site upgrades, and building maintenance. NCE President Brian Ehrlich's a former Madison quarterback and proud to support high school football in San Antonio, building relationships first, then buildings that last. Learn more about NCE General Contractors online at ncegc.co. That's ncegc.co.
Football season is here. Hi, Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You want to have more fun watching football this year? Play the Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy. Over 1 million fans got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog. You can join in and win up to 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats. I know I made a lot of money last year playing at Underdog Fantasy on the Pick'em game. You too can as well. And it's easy to get signed up. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download their mobile app. Use my promo code STAR and Underdog will give you a highly discounted pick to use on your first Pick'em entry, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Promo code STAR to claim your new customer offer of a gimme first pick and your deposit offer when you get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to ncpgambling.org.
Testosterone plays a significant role in regulating fat metabolism and distribution in the body. It also helps to reduce serious health risks down the line. I'm Manny with Rock's Discount Vitamins, and we carry the highest quality natural testosterone boosters on the market. It immediately provides you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improves your mood. With 11 San Antonio area locations, find us at rocksdiscountvitamins.com. That's rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for all the support.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Real estate is out of control. Between guaranteed offer programs and new laws about agent commissions, it's gotten so confusing. Know what's not confusing? Paying someone a low flat fee to sell your house. And that's where Listing Spark comes in. Listing Spark is Texas' flat fee real estate company. Flat fee selling is sweeping the nation because it's faster and it keeps more money in your pocket. In fact, professional real estate investors have known about it for years. With Listing Spark, you don't have to pay hefty agent commissions and you don't have to leave money on the table. If you have a house worth $400,000, you actually sell it for $400,000 without paying $24,000 in agent commissions. And get this, if you get started today with Listing Spark, you can list with a local brokerage for as low as $395. Contact Listing Spark today to find out how much your home is worth for free. See, it's simple. Call 800-MLS-LIST or go to listingspark.com. That's listingspark.com. Listing Spark. Thousands of Texan homeowners agree. Selling's better with a low flat fee.
When there's work to do, ground to break, and a reputation to uphold, you need the powerful, durable Kubota RTVX, North America's #1 selling diesel utility vehicle. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months, or save up to $1,000. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, for over 75 years, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
This Sunday, come cheer on the Cowboys at Twin Peaks Westover Hills. We'll be giving away an epic Cowboys jersey just for catching the game at Twin Peaks on game day. Ask your Twin Peaks server for more. So come and hang out with us and the lovely ladies at Twin Peaks this Sunday, starting at 5. Grab the best seat in the house and a frosty 29-degree beer, and be sure to catch the Cowboys dominating the Steelers. Again, that's this Sunday, starting at 5 at the Twin Peaks Westover Hills location at 151 and Loop 410.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Appreciate y'all rolling with me tonight. Take you up to 7 o'clock. Get you ready for Cowboys Crosstalk. That's coming up at the top of the hour. But speaking of the Cowboys, there's a lot going up there. I mean, today's news with Brandon Cooks, man, forget all about Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence's injuries. And it has been a rash of injuries coming out of this Giants game that a lot of people, usually losing one of these players hurts a lot. They've lost so many players over this time period that it's going to be interesting to kind of see how the team in the locker room comes out against the Steelers after going through all this adversity, to see kind of where this team is at mentally. But earlier today on the Blitz, RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys, joined the and they talked about, well, the injuries to Brandon Cooks, what to expect, why we aren't seeing Dalvin Cook, and a lot more as we get ready for Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. RJ Ochoa with Jason and Joe on the Blitz.
Let's get the Devontae Adams trade talk out. I think he's being mentioned with the Cowboys because, you know, the national media knows that you just always had the Cowboys. I see no one need, because he doesn't help the run game or stopping the run, no way that the Cowboys actually give up anything to go get Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, this is different than the usual. That you're right, obviously always exists. Different in that it could really help the Cowboys. Like oftentimes it's just a random big name that you can't really make sense from the Dallas side of things. You could certainly see how, and this was true before the unfortunate Brandon Cooks news that popped up today. You could certainly see how Dallas could use him. But yeah, I mean, look, everybody has a job to do, including the insiders who report this stuff. But the two names who were first thrown out were the Cowboys, who are who they are, and the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Like, this is, you know, the dots are, you don't even have to connect them. The dots are so close that there's a middle of a Venn diagram, if you will. So yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, they want to trade for a running back or a defensive tackle or a corner, by all means, we can find a lot of names that would make sense there. But I just don't see this happening because of age and salary and all those sorts of things.
Well, it depends, right? And I think the Devontae Adams doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you look at a DeAndre Hopkins who could come available, or maybe an Amari Cooper, guys that are on, just a 1-year rental, I think that would make some sense. But I agree with you too. I think there are more pressing needs than wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, in the reality, people use the analogy of, trying to build the boat while you're already out on the ocean, all the time. That's what we're doing. But we didn't even start with a boat. We started with a raft, you know what I mean? And we're trying to put all this together. So it's easy to say, because wide receiver is a need, and it was a need when the offseason began, but they ignored it, and they ignored running back, and they ignored defensive tackle. They, on top of all that, have had unfortunate injuries and setbacks at other positions where they were deep, like corner or pass rusher, that have also become needs to a great degree in their own right. So they have a very, very limited amount of resources to spend and are stingy with them in general, just out of disposition. So the fact that, wide receiver is a need, but there are so many other big-time needs that wide receiver is now kind of a luxury based on priority, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. RJ Ochoa, bloggingtheboys.com here on the Blitz. The Brandon Cooks story is just kind of weird. Ed Werder saying he got an injection, it got infected, so now you have to have a couple of Jalen's and a Turpin that are going to have to step up. My question, though, you're playing Pittsburgh. Tyler Guyton, what can they do to help him, knowing what Pittsburgh is very, very good at doing defensively?
I mean, it really is difficult to come up with a great answer, right? You can certainly say things like, oh, we're going to put a tight end out there, we're going to have him chip off, whatever. The answer, the most likely answer, is to get the ball out quickly. That's the only way that you're going to be able to do this. And when you do that, you are risking a lot of things. There's a reason that through 4 weeks of the season, Dak Prescott has the highest percentage of tight window throws in the NFL. It's because he's having to thread needles, because early on in the play, there are fewer wide open windows. Last week, he was 13 of 14, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns on throws of that particular variety. So he has been excellent at doing that particular thing, but that's it. I mean, we've seen, I think, some coaching around the young offensive lineman, you're just trying to hide them right now. It's very difficult to do anything other than that, especially when you're going up against a defense like the Steelers.
Yeah, but I think this week, RJ, the Cowboys, even though they're banged up defensively, I think this is a game that they're going to hang around, and then they can have an opportunity to win this thing. And Jason and I were talking about this. It is time, and you're right about Dak. He's thrown some tight window throws, and he's played well, but that offense has got to take the mantle this week, I think. And I think they can, even though Pittsburgh's defense is pretty good. Look, you score 21 points against the Steelers team, and I think you got a pretty good shot of winning.
Well, there's a great thing from the Hall of Famer Dick LeBeau, the longtime defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 points as a defense. If you can limit, the opposing offense to 17 points, you should win that game, right? You should trust your offense for that much. You mentioned 21. That's that point of demarcation. I just don't know if I trust that they can do that. I mean, and I don't say that to be funny or cheeky or silly or whatever, but dude, it's like pulling teeth right now. I mean, consider that CeeDee Lamb is their most potent offensive weapon. He has 2 touchdowns this season. The first one was a 65-yarder, and the second was a 55-yarder. Your game plan cannot be hitting shots from half court, but that's what it is right now for the Cowboys. Those are 2 of his 3 longest touchdowns ever in his whole career, because they can't sustain drives. They can't move on the ground. Speaking of, they have 301 yards rushing on the ground. That is the 4th fewest through the first 4 games of any season in Dallas Cowboys franchise history. So they are just stuck. They're in mud. They're in quicksand. They can't get out. I'm with you, Joe, that it makes sense that at some point, the bow would have to break and the baby would have to fall. But it just isn't there for the Cowboys right now, because if you're the Steelers or the Giants last week, you can afford to double CeeDee Lamb, because, oh no, what's going to happen? One of the Jalen's, is going to beat us? Nobody is taking that seriously.
Jalen Brooks. I'm rooting for that kid. Jalen Brooks is ready to have a breakout game. In all seriousness, RJ, is this the game where Dak Prescott has to say, guys, get on my shoulders, I'm going to carry you to a win?
I think he did that last week. I mean, as mentioned, with how efficient he was on the tight window throws, because I like what the game you're describing is the 43 for 49 for 502 yards and 6 touchdowns game. But they don't have the horses for that. You can have the most talented driver in the world ready for a Formula One race, but if you're putting him in a Toyota Camry, you know what I mean? Like, he can't go up. No offense to Camry owners, he can't go up against the fastest cars in the world. And so that's the problem, and that's why they're having to call things the way that they are, because they don't have players who can win in those matchups. They don't have the dynamic skill position players, and they just lost Brandon Cooks. Like, this was true this morning before that news came out. So it's very difficult to envision how they're going to be able to get that done, because Dak is, as of now, putting the team on his shoulders, no matter what anybody wants to type in caps lock or what Joe wants to shout into his microphone.
I love Dak. Come on, RJ. Are you kidding me? I do have to ask you,
Dak.
I have to ask you a question, because you understand Jerry Jones better than anybody. At least I think so.
Better than anybody?
Well, he said this week that they're going to be a little short at running back for this game. Not going to call up Dalvin Cook. And I'm not saying Dalvin Cook is the answer to anything. However, I don't understand why they're not at least giving this guy a chance. Can you explain that to me?
I can, but you won't like it, and nobody will like it. So they have 3 running backs who are active for them, right? And I think we would agree that Rico Dowdle is their starter, or whatever you want to call him, Zeke and Deuce Vaughn. One of those running backs has to play special teams, just by the nature of the way football works. You need bodies on punts and kickoffs and things like that. That's not going to be Zeke. It's not going to be Dalvin Cook. That's not their thing anymore. They certainly aren't fit to do that. Now, Zeke does have an edge, if you want to call it that, at pass blocking and things like that. So that is kind of a proponent in his favor. But it comes down to Deuce Vaughn is somebody who will play special teams, because he's kind of in a position to be able to do that. Rico Dowdle's not. So it comes down to, okay, we want to activate Dalvin Cook. That means, by process of elimination, we would have to not activate Zeke Elliott. And you mentioned knowing Jerry Jones. I would, to Jason's point, ascertain that there are people who know him better. But I think we all know that there is not a snowball's chance in hell that they're going to sit Zeke Elliott, their precious Ezekiel Elliott, 4th overall pick, $90 million running back. And we can sit here and rightfully say that that's dumb and that's stupid and that's illogical and that's, nepotism to some degree. But we've seen them treat other people in franchise history that way. Jason Witten, whatever. He's in that box. So this comes down to Zeke Elliott or Dalvin Cook. And like I said, you can actually make an argument that Zeke is a better pass blocker than him. So you don't want to roll those dice anyway. But that is the long, short story of why Dalvin Cook is still not active on a week-to-week basis.
And
but why do you bring him in? It makes no sense.
For when Zeke gets hurt.
That is the answer. I mean, or for if you truly reach a point of, we just have to admit it. We have to accept it, right? Like I mentioned, everything has, comes to an end. The Houston Astros aren't going to appear in the ALCS the first time since dinosaurs roamed the earth.
What?
But it came to an end today.
What?
And in a similar way, you're going to have to, at some point, potentially, might acknowledge that Zeke just doesn't have it anymore. But I would, to that point, and Jason's point, say, that week there'll be a weird hamstring or ankle or something to where you don't have to actually openly admit that Zeke Elliott is not better than Dalvin Cook. But I agree with your first point, Joe, to be very clear, because I've seen a lot of, speaking of coping Cowboys fans, this idea that Dalvin Cook is going to show up and the run game is going to be lit on fire is so stupid. This whole thing is so broken and so bad that there are, I would say, millions of people who have convinced themselves that Dalvin Cook is going to come in and save the day. I find that to be an incredible thing, but here we are.
I don't know about save the day. And that was RJ Ochoa earlier today on the Blitz. Be sure to catch anything you missed in the audio vault, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds at sasportstar.com. Look, I'm not saying he's going to be the fix-all, but I think they're better. And I saw a comment by Mario Martinez says Cowboys O-line isn't good enough to do run or 5-step drop back. That's not true. Look, Guyton's had some holding penalties. Guyton's had a couple of misses. He's a rookie. You're going to go through a little bit of a learning curve with him. But the Cowboys' offensive line consistently is ranked within the top 10 when it comes to run blocking, pass blocking. It is, if you look at the advanced metrics of expected yards per carry, the Cowboys are one of the top teams in expected yards per carry. They're getting the expected yards because the running backs aren't hitting the hole correctly or seeing the hole or exploding through a block or a tackle to make one person miss to capitalize on the expected rush yards per play. That's not on the offensive line. That's on the running backs. That's where the issue is. It's with Deuce Vaughn. It's with Rico Dowdle. It is with Zeke Elliott. The problem is every time they bring up they're cool with their run game, what's the first thing that they say? Zeke's a great blocker. That is the first thing out of Steven or Jerry or Mike's mouth every time they come on to defend Ezekiel Elliott. It has nothing to do with his ability to run the ball. And also, I don't think they want to run the ball. And I brought this up years ago, whether it was on this show or the Saturday Morning Hangover before that. Mike McCarthy doesn't give a damn about running the football. He says he does not, and you can just look to his time in Green Bay and since he got here and took over the play calling. He does not care about running the football. Throwing it 40 times a game is more Mike McCarthy's alley than running it 30. And those are proven facts by stats over his entire tenure as an offensive play caller. So you can call it what you want. I think Dalvin Cook could help the run game in terms of just getting those expected yards per carry. But I don't think the Cowboys are willing to admit they made a mistake. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. NBA preseason's right around the corner, guys, and that means we finally get to see what Wemby and CP3 look like in action. Well, earlier this morning, the Morning Huddle talked about what Wemby said about what Chris Paul brings to this team, and Wemby's got a dunk list. We'll let you hear that next, coming up on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Joel, don't you just love Halloween?
It's okay, but I do like your troll costume.
I'm not wearing a costume.
Folks, if your home's AC starts making those witching sounds or the pipes in your wall start moaning and clanging like ghosts having a party, call Quarter Moon at 651-5899, and we'll send our team of highly trained
Ghostbusters!
I was gonna say technicians.
I ain't afraid of no clogs.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 651-5899. License number TACLA 141074E M16004.
The Gomez Law Firm is proud to be San Antonio's trusted personal injury law firm for the past 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us. Your firm has been fighting for the people of San Antonio since 1973. That's incredible.
There are not a lot of businesses that stick around for even 50 years, let alone personal injury law firms.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then turn to the law firm that will fight for you. Visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law Fights.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-8841. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-8841. That's 800-550-8841. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Guys, excited to tell you about my friends over at SA Card House. They're located right off of 281 at Bitters, and this is the best card house in all of San Antonio. This is a premier poker experience. I got used to playing online in Vegas, and then every once in a while I'd go out, I'd get in the casino and play cards. I'm so excited to be back in a place where I can get my hands on the cards, sit down at the table, feel the feel of the table, feel those chips. You gotta love it. This is a private social club. They're open 7 days a week, and they're open all hours of the night. So you get whatever hours you're working, you get off work, you want to go play some poker, great. You work in the mornings, you want to play in the afternoon, great, like me. It's a great time, great atmosphere, a clean place, which is a big deal for me, and they welcome every skill level. On top of that, they've got a bar and grill, Foster's Bar and Grill attached. You don't have to be a member to dine. 5-star chefs on hand with nightly specials. The food is incredible. Check them out and check them out online, sacardhouse.com.
Smoky Mo's is the best neighborhood barbecue in San Antonio. Tailgating or game watching? Create your own party pack with your choice of meats, including brisket, turkey, sausage, and home-style sides, including our new bacon cheddar potatoes. Smoky Mo's Barbecue gets its delicious flavor and aroma from quality meats prepped with our unique spice blend. Smoked low and slow over post oak, in-house every day. Smoky Mo's is great Texas barbecue, served fast and friendly, with 8 locations. Find the one near you at SmokyMo'sBarbecue.com. Smoky Mo's, the pit is lit.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in, commenting on our YouTube page, including Mario Martinez, who says he completely agrees McCarthy doesn't like to run the ball. In Green Bay, they were so bad they converted a halfback, wide receiver into a halfback and ruined Montgomery. John Schaefer says, trade Dak for Devontae and start Lance. You can do better than Devontae Adams. Devontae's a headache. He got where he wanted. He took the money, and now he's mad that the situation is what it is in a place that he agreed to go to, which is blasphemy. Basketball season is right around the corner, though, and a lot of us are wondering what this Spurs team will look like, and predictions for where they will be are all over the board. I think they will be a much better team with the veteran leadership of a Harrison Barnes and a Chris Paul. And I think that's going to do a lot for this team with the young mistakes it made, with the choking away of big leads, with the falling behind big early, like just the mental lapses in parts of games that this young group went through. I think the veterans on the court, having, quote unquote, adults in the room that have been through this, gone. This team was so young, the youngest in basketball. it needed an influx of some type of veteran leadership that wasn't just Pop on the sidelines. And it's going to be very interesting to kind of find out how this all shakes out on the court. And earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, Rob Thompson and AJ Hoffman were talking about what Wemby said about what CP3 ends up bringing to this team.
Rob, we talked a little Spurs stuff yesterday. We got into some of the sound and how Vic's excited about the season, obviously, and playing with Chris Paul. And
we're talking about that a lot.
Well, yeah, that's where are we at now?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're it's basketball season almost.
No, I
you
mean,
should be excited about
this. The Chris Paul conversation has been just kind of the focal point, and I think it's by design. I think it's easier if I'm Pop. I'd much rather talk about this seasoned vet who's been through the wars than a bigger magnifying glass on Wemby. I think the best thing is that we're talking about Chris Paul, but I don't think that the amount of attention we're giving him now will be seen as the season progresses.
Probably not.
I think he's going to matter.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it strikes me that, all we're talking about is the addition of Chris Paul, when really the storyline is how quickly Victor becomes the greatest basketball player on the planet.
Well, here's what Vic said as far as how what Chris Paul's done for him so far, what he sees Chris Paul doing for him.
Even now, looking at the rest of the league, I don't see many guys who could bring the same amount of knowledge about the game as him. It's a real chance to have him. And just this week that we spent with him, practicing and running scrimmages, he's just brought us a whole new view of the game. Because I'm young, we're young, we don't know. Most of us don't know a whole lot about the NBA and how to win, and he does. So it's a real chance, and the biggest chance to me is the fact that he's willing to give that knowledge to us.
Dude, I like this more and more. It's so funny because I remember in May when we were talking about free agency, and I was like, how cool would it be if the Spurs got Chris Paul? And we were like, oh, that would be. It's and sure enough, they did, and now it's like, all right. Everybody seems excited about this. I say everybody, not like the national media is excited about it, but the Spurs seem excited about it. Like the young players seem excited about it. And even the guys who like Steph Castle seems excited about it. And probably there's going to be times where Steph Castle's losing minutes because Chris Paul is there, but he still seems pumped about it. I dig that. I think that's a cool thing. But here's the clip I wanted to play for you, Rob. I knew you would be excited about this. They said, who would you most want to dunk on? If you can dunk on anybody in the NBA, who's your list? Give me the guys you most want to throw one down on.
I would say the best defenders would be the biggest challenges. So of course Rudy, my guy Rudy Gobert. I think Kawhi would be, because all these guys, I just respect them so much in the defensive end that it'd be incredible to dunk on them. So I said Rudy, Kawhi, and I'd say a third one. I would say Jonathan Isaac. He's I think really, really underrated defender.
What about any players of the past? You want to give me a Michael Jordan? You want to give me a Hakeem?
Yeah. I'd go Kobe. Because I want to see connection to getting dunked on. Might be a bad choice, but I go with Wilt.
Yeah, Wilt. Dunk on dead guys. Great.
He didn't say Bill Russell. He said Wilt.
Bully the dead. But Rob, when I told Rob this clip existed, and I said, "Oh, he wants to dunk on Kawhi,"
he's been raised right.
Rob said, "Yeah." I mean, first of all, he's a giant. No Giants are picking Kawhi. Rudy Gobert makes sense, Wilt makes sense. Kawhi doesn't make sense.
Oh, he makes every bit of sense. Oh man, wear it.
Oh, that made me that got a smile out of me.
I want him nutmegged while he is getting dumped on. I want 2 posters.
That got a smile out of me. I know it got a smile out of Rob.
Gilberto Padilla says on our YouTube live feed, 1 dunking on 2. I'm ready for it. Well, Depends when they play the Clippers, because Kawhi might not be ready to start the season, as we know all too well in San Antonio what Kawhi's injury history is and his propensity to not being available all the time. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. We'll put a bow on the show coming up next right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, sports bettors, Joe Reinigle here to tell you about my favorite sportsbook and casino, BetUS.com. You know, football is back, so it's time to get in on the action. I endorse one sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS. BetUS went large for you this season. A huge offer, 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Get started today at BetUS.com or give them a call, 1-800-MY-BETUS. BetUS, where the game begins.
Hello.
I didn't make it into medical school, Dad.
Huh?
I didn't have an A in all my subjects, so I can't get in.
What do you mean, all these years I supported you, all the money I poured into your education, you don't get all A's? What was your bad subject? Chemistry, physiology, what?
No, Dad, spelling.
Spelling?
Yeah.
What, was it some funny microorganisms you couldn't spell or what?
No, Connecticut.
Connecticut? You mean the water conditioner that uses no electricity? Are you kidding? Everybody knows how to spell Connecticut.
Not me.
Everybody knows Connecticut is the water conditioning company that revolutionized the water industry.
Sorry, Dad.
Everybody knows that Connecticut is spelled Kinetico.
I thought the instructor said Connecticut. That
Oh,
means coast
son,
little
you should have remembered kinetic as in kinetic energy with an O on the end. Connecticut.
Try a Connecticut for 90 days absolutely free with no contract. Call Connecticut of San Antonio at 210-656-PURE.
ConnecticutSA.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
How about them Cowboys? Jim Beam, bringing fans together across Cowboys country. We rise as one in Texas in handed-down silver and blue jerseys. We come together for America's team every time they take the field. So let's share a round of Jim Beam highballs on game day in Cowboys country. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code LIFE.
Shop Macy's VIP sale going on now. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends from designers that rarely go on sale. And save 15% off skincare, makeup, fragrances, and more. Plus, shop fall specials for even more great deals on top brands at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
It's the Ancira Nissan end of summer sales event at Ancira Nissan on I-10 West. Lease this 2024 Rogue SV for just $246 per month for 36 months. Or buy this 24 Leaf SV and take $10,000 off MSRP. Come on by or check us out at AnciraNissanSA.com. The end of summer sales event at Ancira Nissan on IH-10 West between Wurzbach and Hebner.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, SASportsStar.com. I appreciate everybody for rolling through tonight. A couple of comments on our YouTube live feed based on that last one. Mario Martinez thinks Draymond needs a good posterization. Agreed with that. They also say that Kawhi equals Lord Voldemort. Also, easily agree with that sentiment. Really good one I saw here from Daniel Bautista said he wouldn't mind seeing Wemby dunking on Bol. I think that would also be an underrated but great dunk on and posterization of a player, because too many people try to compare Bol to Wemby and they just aren't on the same plane other than their height. And I think Wemby is going to prove even more so of that this year with the way he will play and probably insert himself, if they get off to a fast start, into early MVP talk. Also, I was asked, since the Astros are gone, me being an Astros fan, who do I got winning the World Series? You're not going to like this coming from an Astros fan, but it's the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers end up taking it all. That lineup's just so stacked. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Ohtani might pitch in the postseason. Who knows? It's going to be very interesting. It should make for a good, fun October, though. Guys, I appreciate all y'all for riding along tonight. Remember, everything can be caught in the audio vault at SASportsStar.com. It is powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. Be sure to check on your loved ones. You never know what people are going through in their life, even if they've got a smile on their face every time you see them. Just reach out, say what's going on, let them you know you love them. It could do more than you know for them. This has been Extra Innings with Pledge. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 941 FM and SASportsStar.com.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
If you're a man and you live in or around the San Antonio area, you need to listen to this message. Do you find yourself stressing about or even avoiding